When Tesla shipped autopilot, they didn't just throw the keys to a self-driving car at people and say good luck. They started with cruise control, then lane keeping, then navigating on autopilot, then city streets. Each step gave users time to get comfortable before moving to the next one. And I think this is the thing that most AI products are getting completely wrong now. And everyone's racing to ship agents, autonomous systems that do everything for you, and they're wondering why adoption is really slow. And I think the answer here is sort of trivial. You're asking people to go from zero to full autopilot in one step. And that's not really how humans work. Okay, so here's the thing about AI tools right now. There's a huge gap between what the AI can actually do and what the user are actually comfortable letting it do. And I've seen this over and over again. You show someone agent mode and cursor, the AI can edit multiple files, run commands, build entire features, and their reaction is almost always the same. It's not that they don't believe it works, it's that they are not ready. They haven't really built up to it. The jump is too big. And I think this is a product design problem more than a technology problem, because when you look at AI tools and that are actually getting adoption, they all have something in common. They let users move at their own pace. The former director of Tesla, Andrej Karpathy, and a prominent researcher heavily respected in his field, called this the autonomy slider, and it's a spectrum from AI suggests to AI acts. And the key insight isn't just trust or risk management, it's about meeting users where they already are. Let me use Tesla as an example because they've been running this experiment longer than anybody. In 2014, Tesla ships traffic-aware cruise control. The car maintains speed and keeps distance from the car ahead. That's it, really super limited, and that's the point. This is where users start. The AI does one small thing really well. You see how it behaves, and you get comfortable with the idea of the car making decisions. And the scope is so narrow that there's almost no learning curve. Then they added auto steer. Now the car stays in lane, but you've already been using traffic-aware cruise control for months. You understand the system. Adding one more capability doesn't feel like a big leap. It feels like just the next step. Then navigate on autopilot, lane changes, highway exits. But again, you've been using the previous features. You've seen how the car handles itself. Moving up feels just natural. And this is the pattern. Each level is a small step from the previous one. Users self-select when they're ready to move up. Some people stay on traffic-aware cruise control forever. Some people jump straight to FSD as soon as it's available. Both are fine, but the slider accommodates both. Now compare this to what would happen if Tesla just shipped FSD in 2014. No immediate steps, just the car that drives itself. Adoption would have had friction of what it is. The users weren't ready. Cursor does this really well. There's 4 modes, each one small step from the last. For example, tab completion. The AI suggests a few characters or a line, you hit tab to accept, and that's the entry point. There's really no commitment. There's no workflow change or anything. And here's what's smart about this. Even skeptical users will try to tab completion. The cost is so low, the risk is nothing, and once they're using it, they start to see how AI thinks. They get familiar with its patterns. Then comes inline edits. Now you can highlight the code and have AI change it. It's a bit more autonomy, but it's not full autonomy. And this is where users start to get more comfortable. And then there's the chat option. Full conversations with the AI about your code. It can write entire functions now. And even AIs can suggest smaller edits to bigger code bases. Then what they call agent mode. The AI takes over multiple files, multiple steps, and you set a goal and it works toward it. And users who climb the ladder, this feels like a natural step. For users who didn't, it feels very terrifying. And the ladder technically is the product here. One last example I want to point out is Perplexity. They do something similar with the search, research, and deep research. So search is the entry point. You ask a question, the AI finds sources and summarizes an answer. Fast, simple, and low commitment. Research is the next step. Multiple searches, some reasoning, more depth, but you've already used regular search. You know how Perplexity cites sources. You know how it summarizes. Research is just one more than that. Deep research is at the very tip top of the ladder. The AI spends minutes on your query, dozens of searches, multiple reasoning cycles, and long detailed output. And that's would have been sort of overwhelming at the first point, but as the third tier, for users who climbed up, it just makes sense. And here's, I think, what is underrated for the design. Users self-select their level based on the tasks, but also based on their comfort. Someone new to Perplexity sticks to search until they understand how it works. Someone experienced knows when to jump to deep research. The slider lets both users coexist in the same product. So this brings me to agents, because everyone is shipping agents right now, and a lot of them are struggling with adoption. If you read the latest Kinsey report, you barely see these enterprises adopting agents as a productivity boost. And I think the reason is because they skipped the ladder. If your product only has agent mode, you're asking users to stop at the top. Full autonomy from day one. The AI does everything, and for most users, that's a huge leap. It's not that they don't want the functionality, it's just they haven't built up to it. They don't have mental models of how AI behaves. They haven't seen it succeed in smaller contexts. They are already asked to give up control before they're ready. And the result either is they don't use it at all and they try once before everything goes wrong and they never come back. Both are adoption failures. Compare this to the product that starts you at a tab completion and lets you climb. By the time you reach agent mode, you've spent hours with AI, and you know how the quirks, you've seen it succeed and fail. Agent mode isn't a leap of faith, it's the next step. Again, I'm sort of repeating myself here because there's patterns in all of these products, all the successful products. There's patterns in the products that fail. So what do we get from this? Users adopt at different speeds, essentially, and that's not a bug. It's just how people work inherently. Some users want to go fast, and they're early adopters, and they're comfortable with new tools. They jump to the highest autonomy level immediately and figure out as they go. And others want to go slow. They're more cautious. They want to understand each level before moving to the next one. They just need time. And a good autonomy slider accommodates both. That's the fast users can skip ahead, and the slower users can take time. Nobody's forced into any level they're not ready for. And that's what Tesla really got right. You can buy a Tesla, never use anything beyond cruise control, or you can enable FSD from day one. The product doesn't force you either way. It's let you find your own pace. And I think the AI products that win long term are going to be the ones that figure this out, not the ones with most powerful agent mode, the ones that have the best ladder to get you there. And I think the pattern that I've been talking about here is worth naming. I would call it graduation mode. Users start at the lowest level of autonomy. They use it and they get comfortable. And at that some point, they hit a wall. This is where it would be easier if AI did more. And that's when they graduate to the next level. The key here is that user initiates the move, not the product, not a tutorial. The user feels the limitation and chooses to level up. And this only works if the levels are designed right. Each level has to be useful on its own, not just a stepping stone. Tab completion isn't just training wheels for agent mode. It's a real feature that some users prefer for some task. The slider isn't about forcing people up. It's about giving them somewhere to go when they're ready. So what does this really mean for AI products? Say you're a founder, you're an enterprise executive, or just somebody that likes building AI products like me. So if you're really building AI products, I think the takeaway is this. Don't ship a switch, ship a slider. Give users an entry point that's low commitment, something they can really try without giving up so much control, like tab completion, basic search, simple suggestions, to get them in the door. Then give them a clear next step of autonomy, but not maximum autonomy, something that feels a natural progression from where they started. And keep going, build a ladder, let users climb at their own pace, and some will sprint to the top. Some will camp at the level 2, or both will be fine, both are adoption. The products that try to skip this, the ones that only have agent mode, they're going to struggle a little bit, not because agents don't work, but because they're asking users to start at the very end. So how much control should you give AI? I think the real answer is how much you're comfortable with right now, and the right products will let you start there and move up when you're ready. The autonomy slider isn't just finding the optimal level, it's about giving permission to start low, to learn the tool, and to build up. The people who let the most out of the AI tools aren't the ones who jump straight to max autonomy. And that's really the skill here, not knowing where to set the slider, knowing when to move it. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. If you have any questions about this sort of mental model, feel free to put in the comments, and I'll try to reply. Yeah, peace.